Hello! In today's video, we are going to be talking about the Alliance Mobilization event. I am aware that my video is coming out quite a while after the release of this event, but the reasoning for this is that I wanted to have a more complete data set, and it took me time to gather the data that I want to present in this video. In today's video, we are going to be covering how to prepare for future mobilization events, since right now, if you're at a big alliance, you're going to win no problem. We are going to be talking about what quests you should be doing based on your spend level, or if you're free to play, how to approach this event as an alliance leader, and at the end of this video we are going to be talking about my personal thoughts on this event. Let's start by going over the rules for this event. During this event, you will have 10 total quests that you can do over the course of 7 days, and you can also purchase one quest for 600 gems. Right now, it is not really necessary to do 11 quests, since most likely your alliance pool, if you are in a full alliance, will mean that you won't have to compete very hard in order to get into the top 5. However, as we progress further into this event, it will be necessary to purchase that additional attempt. If we look at the structure for this event going forward, you can see that 5 alliances will first be promoted to silver, and then 8 to gold, and then 10 to diamond. Notice that once you are in gold, you cannot be demoted backwards, and you can only be promoted up to diamond and then demoted back to gold. So if you're in a less competitive alliance and you're not really looking at pushing to diamond or legendary, you will never have to spend 600 gems on a paid for quest, and you can instead just chill in the gold league. However, when you get to diamond, this is when you're going to want to actually start spending gems on that additional quest attempt. One thing that is important to note when you are registering for this event is that you do not get an advantage for registering with less people. Since there is no matchmaking system, you should always be trying to register with as many people as possible. That way you can achieve at least the same score with less points on average per player, or an even higher score. This isn't really necessary if you are in a strong active alliance for the first couple of goes at this event, but later on it will become more and more necessary. I am going to go ahead and scroll through these rules just in case you are curious. However, aside from the fact that you need to be City Hall level 16 to participate, and the fact that you can only do 10 plus 1 quests in total, and also this fact down here that when you fail a quest, the quest attempt will not be refunded, most of the rules are useless. Before we continue with this video, where I tell you what quests you should be doing based on your spend level, or if you're free to play, we do need to go ahead and take a look at the classes tab, because this says that the alliance quests will increase in difficulty when the alliance is promoted, and you will also gain more points. I'm going to assume that these quests will maintain the approximate same ratios, so this shouldn't throw off the data too much. However, we'll have to wait and see if that's actually the case. I find it frustrating with the event rules change like this, but as long as the ratios are maintained, I think it should be okay. So I'm kind of banking on that. We'll see how it goes. But now let's go ahead and hop into a spreadsheet, and I'll actually go ahead and give you the data on what you should be doing based on your spend level, or if you're free to play. So here is the spreadsheet that I made with all the different quest data that I could gather. So I'm probably missing a few things. For example, I found 7 different unique mana quests. So that means that there's probably 7 different unique gathering quests for all the different gathering types. However, in order to actually find those, it would take a lot of time of refreshing, which I don't know if that's actually worth doing, especially after I found out that the quests will be changing every time you level up your alliance. However, with this data, we should be able to follow trends, and I'm just really banking on ratios. If you would like to get your own copy of this spreadsheet, there will be a link to it down in the description. And if you would like to edit it, just go File, Make a Copy, and you can make a copy on your own drive and edit it to your heart's content. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the spender priority, because this is probably what you're actually here for. It's pretty simple, at least right now. You're going to probably want to purchase 3 Alliance chest bundles just with their daily special offer, or you can even do the daily offer plus 5 if you're feeling crazy and get the extra 10 points. There's a couple of things you can do for other quests as well. You can buy out your VIP shop for 8,250 gems, you get 150 points. For exchange coins, you can get a lot of points for spending those, however, that is pricey. but you can buy resources this way with your exchange coins, so if you're doing that anyway, that's something to consider. And then you have all of these speed up related quests for gaining power, using speed ups, and training tier 5 units, which are all 150 points. If you're a spender, you should probably be aiming for, I would say, like a 140 point average for your quest attempt, something like that, since you have the ability to do that. If you would not like to go this crazy, there are also the gathering quests, which will give you 118 or 102 points in the Bronze League at the highest tier. And of course, one more thing you can do if you're a very high spend player is you can also go ahead and just buy raw gems, and that gives a very high number of points as well. So, buying raw pet currency and buying raw gems and spending that will always be your best bet, most likely. However, this average goal of 140, 135 or something points per quest seems very reasonable as a spender. If we go to the free-to-play priority now, I do also have the use gems and spend exchange coins here. This isn't quite as necessary right now if you're in a lower tier. However, when you get up into the diamond tier, even as a free-to-play player, you're going to want to at least do 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4 of these, depending on how difficult they are, again, with the difficulty increases. But if they are still reasonable for the point gain relative to the other quests, you should probably try to do 1 or 2. We do have open gold chests, so if you want to hoard your gold keys for this event, that could be a decent option. The points seem very reasonable as long as you have the ability to hoard. Killing Darkling Forts is decent. The reason why I don't have the other ones on here, like killing Darklings for example, and using CP, is because it's actually pretty difficult to use 5600 CP in 1 hour and kill 120 Darklings in 1 hour. Especially if you're free to play, you're probably not going to be able to do that unless you're hitting really low level Darklings, and then you're losing a lot of value, and you're also not getting very many points anyways. And then along with that, in the free to play priority list, you do have the gathering. You do, like I mentioned earlier, 118 points for the top tier right now and 102 for the second tier. And then even as free to play, you can be using your speed ups if you're not specifically saving for something at the moment. But again, these quests here on the right would be quests you would do in the future, and this is like, hey, my alliance is in Diamond League, or we're really close to promoting to Gold League, so if I just put in a little bit of extra effort, we'll be in Gold League forever, and then we can just farm the rewards there without having to worry about the competition. So at least get your alliance to Gold League if you think that's something you guys are going to struggle with. Go ahead and put in the extra effort on some of these quests. But if not, save doing these quests probably until you're in the Diamond League. And for now, just focus on the Darkling Forts, opening gold chests, and the Gathering quests. They'll probably get you pretty good value, and it's a pretty reasonable thing to do as well. I'm now going to be giving some advice to Alliance leaders and officers. Some of the advice that I give may be insanely straightforward, however it does need to be said, because I don't think I've heard it be said anywhere else. So one of the most important things is you do want to register a full 150 people. You can do a form of sign up if you'd like, but you might as well stuff 150 bodies in there after you get the preferred registrants in. Then after you do that, you're always going to want to have some form of R4 online that goes in and refreshes all of the bad quests. The reason why I'm not really doing this right now is because the majority of people have already done 10 of their quests, so it's really not as big of a deal right now as it otherwise would have been. And another thing that you want to be doing when you are refreshing your quests as well is you probably want to reference some sort of spreadsheet like the one that I made, and you want to go ahead and look at the spreadsheet and say, okay, the spend CP quests suck, the kill Darkling Patrol quests suck, the low-level gathering ones, they suck. The spend exchange coins ones, they kind of suck. And the ones that you always want to get rid of are the Alliance tech donations. Let's actually make this cell red. Send Alliance help is okay. You don't really want to do any of these low Alliance related ones because look at how bad these points are. But just specifically the Alliance tech donation one, you always want to refresh. So there's a lot of trap things in here, and you just need to make sure you get rid of those as soon as possible. Another thing that's important to do as an alliance leader or officer is to actually inform your members as well what quests they should be doing, because if they see a quest available like, hey, send 50 alliance helps, 45 points, yeah, sure, I'll take that. You need to tell them that they should be at least aiming for a quest that's, say, worth 90 points or something, or 88 points, let's say. So, third tier gathering, go for that, but don't go for these super low point quests, since that'll tank your alliance's score. Obviously, this type of enforcement would only be necessary as we get towards the higher levels of the event, because again, as we see here, only the top 3 will be promoted from Diamond to Legendary, and then when you're in Legendary, the bottom 6 will always be demoted. So when you're in Legendary, you're probably going to be fighting pretty hard, and I imagine that the sizes of groups will be larger in silver and gold than they are in bronze, so you will probably still need to be a little bit careful with how low point quests your alliance members are taking. So it would be a good idea to send out some sort of announcement or mail saying, hey, if you're a high spender, your average quest should be worth this many points. If you're a medium spender, this many points. If you're free to play low spend, this many points. And if you see anyone taking these like 40, 45 point quests when you're in jeopardy of potentially not being promoted, if your goal is to be promoted, that is, then you should try to write that down and say like, hey man, be part of the team. Now to wrap up this video, let's go ahead and talk about the rewards in this event. This will also tie into my opinion on the event, how it's structured, and how we'll be going forward. The tier rewards, you're able to select one option from each row, so you're only able to select one column per row. So the first few rewards, they're not very intriguing. You get down to here, you get 10 regen potions or a 24-hour shield. For the majority of people, I would probably recommend having a 24-hour shield pick here, just because this allows you to actually sleep at night, if that's something that you think you need. It depends on how chaotic your seasons tend to be, because let's be honest, 10 regen potions or 1 pet warrant isn't really a big deal. You get the option between 2 gold hero tokens or an epic artifact choice chest. If you don't have 5 of these yet, maybe you could pick it, but like 99.999% of people should probably take the hero tokens. In the silver class, you get the option between 60 hours of speed ups, 2 titan medals, or 3 gold heads, which is an interesting choice. I think you should probably go for the speed ups. Depends on where you are in your account's progression. If you don't really care about speed ups, like if you don't have tier 5s yet, then going for the 3 gold heads would make sense. But it's an interesting proposition here for sure. And the one above it as well, a 24-hour gathering boost, a 24-hour anti-scout, or 3 1k reserves. All of these are completely useless. I guess you can get the 1k reserves for when you're training, but yeah, pretty bad rewards in general here. In the gold class, you get 2000 CP or a skill reset or talent reset. You'll probably take the 2000 CP, because at least then you can do some Darkling Force or Darklings. Then you also get 3 gold heads again, or 2 Titan medals, or 60 hours of speed up. So the same reward again, same logic would apply. And then here's when we get into the diamond class. This is where I get a little bit worried, because this is where you're going to actually have some people getting relegated, and the rewards here aren't amazing. So you get a 3-hour speed up or 4 gold heads, which is okay. You get 1,000 gems and 30 hours of speed ups here as well, or a lot of mana, I guess. Well, it's only 12. So you're probably going to take 30 hours of speed ups, 1,000 gems, and 4 gold heads, or 3 days of speed ups. So it's not terrible, but the question is this worth all of the speed ups that you're going to be spending on maintaining diamond class? Potentially not. We'll have to see how difficult the quests are but when we get there. And then in the legendary quests, 5 gold heads or 4 titan medals. I mean, that seems really insignificant. One of the only nice things up here is that you get 5 alliance TPs. However, that's a 1500 gem value, which isn't the end of the world. You do get 5 alliance TPs up here as well, which is actually really nice. I should have pointed this out earlier. You probably want to take this if you're in any sort of competitive KVK instead of the speed ups, just to throw that out there. In general, the rewards that are offered from this event aren't the greatest. Let's go ahead and count, I guess, right? Because we have 5, 9, 12, 15, 17. Okay, 17 gold heads, assuming you're a legendary class. But if we go back to the rules, when you go into legendary class, 6 people get demoted. And how many people are there right now per grouping? There's 20. So that means slightly less than a third of the pool is going to get demoted. And when you're in legendary, in order to get there, only the top 3 of diamond get promoted. So you're going to have a lot of competition in this legendary league, which means that you're going to have to be spending a ton of speed ups in order to actually maintain your legendary status and get all of those gold heads several times back to back. I guess if you do get relegated, you will get the 17 gold heads once. But in general, this event does seem like a pretty massive resource sink. We'll have to see how it actually goes in the future. We'll have to see how much the events and the quests scale. I'm not really looking forward to how this event will look in the future, but I guess we will just have to see. In general, I'm definitely okay with this event being in the game. However, I don't like the scaling nature of it, and I don't like the fact that it's very, very focused on just, hey, spend more money. Because when you look at the quests, like, oh, cool, spend 11,000 pet currency and get 200 points. So if that just scales, all the buying raw gems are going to scale as well, the buying bundles are going to scale as well, and that's where you're going to be getting all your points. So realistically, you're getting a very, very, very small monetary value for being encouraged to spend a lot more money. So I guess for some alliances, this would be great. And for some players, they're going to spend the money anyways. But in general, as an event, it's probably a better idea to just look at this as a way to spend money. I guess it's similar to when they have the recharge event even. So it's a little bit of extra value, but I wouldn't really look at this as a competition. It's not that. It's not a measure of activity. It's just a measure of who wants to spend more. So it's okay to do, but I don't know. I think it's a little bit silly. That's my thoughts on this event. I hope that you enjoyed this guide. After learning about the fact that the events will be scaling and the quests will be scaling, I felt a little bit silly about gathering the data that I did. However, I'll probably go ahead and gather the data again next time when we're in Silver League. Anyways, thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.